sense, it is true that that component is there. It makes them feel much more impune, with much more impunity to it. But 10 life after each kill, 10 life after each kill, lightning resist maximum damage, man. It makes them feel with much more impunity. But 9% to lightning spell damage. Ooh. Sorry, there's only one amulet that I can have, and it's that one. No, but this one increases 7% all spell damage. So I'm only losing... I'm technically only losing... Which one is it? Damn. I'm technically only losing 2% damage. Can I engrave this? No, I can't. Where are the people? I think, well, first the impunity of being behind the screen, yes. But anyways, they would behave like that IRL in a lot of cases. If the person is an uneducated beast, like the gorillas that we mentioned in a lot of cases, 10 life after each healed is on his 9. If the person wasn't properly raised and nurtured by his parents, is what I tell you, Patrick. Like, the destiny of a person is decided 20 years before he's born, precisely due to the parents that he's gonna have, his mother and his father. Oh, it is beyond imagination what is happening in the LoL community. No, I know it was always a pile of crap. Look, Patrick, even the developer of Dungeons and Dragons Dragon Shard was in my stream the first year I streamed, 2021 I think it was, and he played, just so you see, it's not just League of Legends community. He played the original one before League of Legends. Heroes of New Earth. Heroes of New Earth. Heroes of New Earth community was even worse than anything that you could describe, because the very same developer played the game. S2 Games, the company had the face of a gorilla as a fucking symbol of its company, so it was predestined to be like that. So the game Heroes of New Earth, the community actually died because of how toxic, precisely because of how uneducated. I don't like the word toxic because it's like a modern incarnation of being. It romanticizes calling a beast a piece of shit and an uneducated illiterate, which is the real denomination. A putrid uneducated illiterate whose parents should be fined. The saying toxic romanticizes it. Not toxic, it's a piece of shit, an uneducated beast that in any other moment of humanity before the Obama administration, his parents would have given him a rude awakening, and society even more if the parents were shit, which was rare back then, and nowadays it's common. See how different it sounds? Well, it's precisely because of that. Because I don't like romanticizing beasts. That is a problem that we have nowadays. We romanticize beasts. A beast, someone who behaves like a beast, is not to be romanticized. The person shouldn't be romanticized in that sense. No, well, but maybe the beast acts properly at some point. Yeah, that's not justified. He's still a fucking beast. Unless the person says sorry and learns to behave and proves with his acts that he behaves, the person is a beast. And should be treated as a beast. Sadly. So the use of the word toxic and those things, generally, no. It is true that they are just reflecting the miserable existence that they had as children, but still that's not justified, because we shouldn't be Uh, we are not paid as adults to be babysitters of other adults in that sense. So yeah. Oh, I need to be careful with those. Those seem to explode. No, good effect, by the way, there. But yeah, pretty much is that. Heroes of New Earth was much worse than League of Legends. In case you are interested, I've showcased it on stream. I have an offline version of it to play it offline, but I know it's like that. It was like that originally. As the developer also joined the games, and he was the first person to insult, so imagine. If the same creator of the game was like that, behaved like a beast, like an uncivilized beast, imagine the rest of the player base. Besides, it had notices like 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 Nemesis and etc. to encourage that shit. Heroes of New Earth, I showcased it, Patrick. I showcased my version in that sense. Quite good. The game is amazing, huh? It's amazing. Oh well. In case you are interested, Patrick, I also showcased offline reverse engineered MOBAs. I metaphysically debunked the fact that MOBAs cannot be played offline. They perfectly can't, just like MMORPGs. It's not easy, but if you. I was coming from the reverse engineered MMORPG world, so the MOBAs were much easier in that sense. I showcased them. I showcased all of them. For example, there's nothing more rewarding for me, as you can see, people, than getting reviving reverse engineered games that were originally online only, and then died, and then you can revive them. In that sense, absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. Because they are generally massive worlds that they end up getting lost to time. All of the ones that I showcased, for example, some minutes ago to Eames with the MMORPGs. The same with those. The same with those, with the MOBAs. And you could be thinking, what was it that you told me, Patrick, the other day? Oh, Eraser, you are the only person who could say that playing an MMORPG offline is fun, or a MOBA for that matter. And no, it's the thing is that I enjoy the combat system. Not many games have tap targeting combat like World of Warcraft, or not many games have the mechanics of the level design of an MMORPG of 5v5 um, in a closed arena going up against each other, in that sense. So yeah, I enjoy the combat system itself, pretty much. I enjoy the combat system, people. I enjoy the combat system a lot, so it has to do with that. I really do not care playing it alone or with a lot of people in that sense, because what I enjoy is the combat instead. What I enjoy is the combat system. Okay, I think I didn't get the quests, and that is terrible. You need to play different genres, Patrick. You need to play more different genres. That's the only way you'll be able to discern between the different things that games can offer to you. What is beyond imagination that you say in the League of Legends community? They are just insulting each other, leaking the IP, those things. That's miserable, but yeah, it's always been like that. I remember I had a friend in high school who played League of Legends back when it came out, 2010, 2012, and he told me, the enjoyment is insulting myself with other people. I and I told him, What the fuck is the enjoyment out of that? While playing League of Legends. I am much happier playing World of Warcraft on my fucking own than playing Star Wars Your Republic, in which, yeah, there's a bit of that, but I just block everyone. I just block everyone. The other day, I made a terrible mistake. I block so fast. I block everyone so fast. Everyone who insults, of course. That poor Chrome that followed the stream some weeks ago, he was blocked. I realized. I realized, and I had to whisper him, saying, "No, well, it was a mistake. I just block everyone by default. Everyone who says some stupid shit on general fleet chat or whatever, I block them by default." So yeah, pretty much. The other day, I had to unblock some people. Pretty much. So yeah, Patrick, I would suggest you do that. I suggest you do that. Just block everyone by default. Like I do. Fucking block everyone. Everyone who says something stupid, block. Maybe I'm a bit exaggerated. I am a bit way too fast because then Chrome here was a good person and etc. and all. But yeah, I also make mistakes. But well, yeah, pretty much. In that sense, when in doubt, I just block everyone. So yeah, Patrick, I would suggest you do that in League of Legends. I don't know, be a bit more uh, reasonable than me, maybe. But yeah, I would say that. You say it's beyond imagination what is happening in the League of Legends community. That you say that they're behaving like beasts. It's not a surprise. It was like that since Heroes of New Earth. Heroes of New Earth was the most uncivilized cesspool of violence ever created. And then I would say that one, League of Legends. Minecraft as well. No, nowadays we have there's worse stuff. There's worse stuff, people. There's one that is about the brain rots or some shit like that. A viral game like that. The problem is that even adults play shit. How the fuck did I do that? Why did my map go over there? It looks good, but I don't know how I did it. What the fuck? How did I do that? What the fuck did I press? Oh, it is Roblox. Yeah, I don't know. It's one thing about the brain rot, some shit like that. I know how I changed my map over there, people. Well, I like it actually there, but well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I like it. It does not block. I don't know how I did it. I want to get a bit of control over it. I don't know what I pressed. I think I pressed control. I don't know what I pressed, people. Roblox. Yeah, the one about the brain rots and that shit. When your game is called, it's about brain rotting. You know you are in for a treat. Yes, indeed. It's the most stupid shit I've ever seen. The most stupid shit I've ever seen. The game is about stealing, in case you don't know, people. The game is about stealing. I watched a video regarding what it is. It's about stealing shit from other players and over voice comms. 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds just shout at each other. That's the thing. It is a piece of shit. I think Minecraft is shit. I think Roblox is shit. The GTA roleplay, all of it is shit because the quality of the complexity of the combat system, what is it? It's just grabbing a. It's just a single click, like in Minecraft. It's pretty much like in Minecraft. It's like a single click, the attack. Like no skill tree, no combat system, no art style for it. There's no art style for it. It's just a pixelated mess. But at least Minecraft, in its favor, had the component of creativity that kids could create their worlds, I guess. I still think it's shit compared to something like Diablo. I think it's an insult calling it a good game when World of Warcraft already existed, Diablo already existed, Pokemon already existed. So yeah, I think it's an insult comparing it to Pokemon. But well, I can somehow get it that kids like, for example, a real sandbox over at a park. Well, Minecraft is pretty much like a virtual one. Yep, the thing is staying there, I think, yeah. I don't think the Windows key would fix it. Yeah, he's staying there. To hell with it. I don't know what I touched. Then I have to I'll have to fix it. No worries. Anyways, I think it looks quite good though, huh? The map over there. Whatever. So yeah, the Roblox. Donating to poor children for an ad is evil? What? Donating to poor children for an ad? What do you mean? For example, they buy an influencer to give away bread to African kids, but the influencer needs to advertise their shit. No, well, if he gives the money to to people who need it so dearly for an ad, I would say that you can choose to not watch the ad at the end of the day, Patrick. Like for example, I put down here in the description of the channel that people who want to support the content just watch without any ad blockers, but those who would like just activate a simple ad blocker and that's it. No more ads. Should work like that, pretty much. Okay, so at the end of the day, they are not. I am. The advertising companies are not pointing a gun at you to watch the ad. You can activate an ad blocker or simply not use the platform altogether. It's like the market, right there. It's like the market at the end of the day. So yeah. No, I wouldn't say it would be. Why would it be evil? You say. Donating to the Bulgarian for another is evil. What is evil is what the Red Cross does. That they keep the properties of a lot of people who they keep the properties of a lot of people of all people who die. I think that should be illegal in that sense. There should always be. I don't know a lot about Roblox and big influencers. You know that I do not consume anything that is very mainstream, Patrick, but pretty much if they are donating the campaign and etc. I love it when they donate food and toys to hospital and they wear a $3,000 jacket. After the donation, they eat at a place for $300. No, well, yeah, that makes no fucking sense. That makes no fucking sense. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. No, no, no. If they are going to the part of donating the food and the toys to the hospitals, perfect, amazing. It's a great community service and etc. But then doing that, well, I don't know. They earn their money, Patrick. They earn their money. Whoever, just like anyone would earn it in a more standard job. but I get the part of boasting that you say that they first say the virtue signaling of, oh, I donated. Now I'll go spend $300 over at a restaurant. Yeah, pretty much instantly afterwards, and with a $3,000 jacket. They have the right to do so, as they earn their money rightfully, if it's not illegal. Yes, I see, but yeah, I get what you mean. That boasting about money without any kind of purpose on stream, like they could do it offline, for example. If I were doing that, I would do it offline. If I were doing that, not. I think spending $3,000 on a single jacket is a waste of money. I would buy, I don't know, I would probably buy something, something more. I would buy I don't know, an some joysticks. I would buy an IPS Game Boy Advance, some shit like that. A lot of shit like that instead of a single jacket. But yeah, I get the point. Boasting about the money immediately afterwards as a way of virtue signaling. I get what you mean. Like as a way of virtue signaling that look, I donated a lot of money. Now let's go spend. Now, like for example, I show Speed or other streamers do that. They get on Ferraris and that shit. Yeah, that is a terrible example for society. A terrible example for society. Yeah, I get what you mean. Boasting about money, like indiscriminately, publicly, blah blah, without any kind of filter. Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. If they earn the money legally, well, they can. It's not illegal to do so, but still, I get it. Like, setting a bad example for society. It's good that they donate, I guess. It's good that they donate. Hey, at least that. It's good. But yeah, pretty much. Like that. I think you meant it because of the food and the toys to the hospitals are much less than the amount of that then they spend on the jacket and etc. Well, it's like that. It's their money at the end of the day. But yeah. Yeah, if they are millionaires, either don't, I don't know, don't donate, remain in the privacy of your home, or yeah, just donate and don't boast about the $3,000 jacket immediately afterwards. I don't know. Could be. Well, they're doing a good action at least. I don't know. At least that one they are doing a good action. They could be spending it on candy, Patrick. They could be fucking spending it on candy, behaving like even more of a gorilla than they might do so with the jacket and the restaurant. Anyways, I will tell you something. Even if you pay a lot of money, you will never get a good food like we have in Italy, pretty much. Not me, but here in Argentina it's the same. You are never getting the best food, even if you pay a lot of money. In that sense, because it's a cultural thing, the quality of food in a lot of cases. Like for example, a standard pizza over here is like better than 99% of pizzas in, I don't know, in the United States, for example. For example, because we use a lot of cheese and etc. and a lot of high quality mozzarella for even the most mediocre pizza that you could imagine. So the average is much higher. You can't buy wisdom, a loving family, love, and calm mind, and a calm mind with money. Indeed, Patrick. Indeed. Indeed, as we've discussed several times. Indeed. Completely true. Completely true. Completely true. Completely true, and I'm glad that at your young age you ended up thinking like that. Completely true. Completely true. 100%. It is like that. It is like that. And you could say people are so poor, all they have is money. Indeed. 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 100%. Indeed 100%. Indeed 100%. Indeed 100%. It's like that, people. It's like that. It's like that. It's like that. It is like that. It is like that. Patrick, never stray from that path because it is like that. It is like that. It's like that. And you could potentially tell me, or someone could potentially tell me, oh well, but if you are rich, you will have a lot of girls around you and that shit. But the problem is that it is such a shallow and miserable existence because all of those souls aren't the one that deserves you. As I tell you repeatedly on stream. Like you could tell me, well, but the millionaire will have no problem. The millionaire football player will have no problem um, having any girl that he'd like, for example. Well, but maybe those won't love him for what he is, but precisely for what he has, and that is absolutely sad. That is absolutely sad. For example, this is the case like when
I don't sense any magic about this item. Very strange.
Kalim's brain. And for example, she won't love him for what he is as a person, with his feelings and thoughts, but instead for the amount of money that he can give her, and that is absolutely sad because then those two people, the the rich footballer, won't be accomplished in life. Won't be accomplished in life because he cannot complement his internal defects. That is a problem. The same for all rainbow flag people. They cannot complement their defects with something that is the same as them. They cannot and you also cannot complement your defects if show machine the figuring. Okay, this was the quest. You cannot complement. Which one is machine here? He was over here. He was the crazy guy over here. You cannot complement your defects like that with people who only want to spend time with you because of your money. It's like that. The idea is you have to complement your defects with all of the things that you are mentioning, Patrick. And in the case of wisdom, it's even worse. It's not about complementing your defects, but about understanding your existence. Why do you exist? Why do you have a purpose? And for those people, they have no purpose in life, as they have never asked themselves all of these questions. So, in the case of wisdom, if you don't ask yourself what's the purpose of existence itself, metaphysical reality, well, it's also quite empty. It's also quite empty. Money-hungry people often have a family that neglected the person financially, I think, not because of them being the like down bad poor, but the person's family neglected the person's need. Well, yes, in a sense, yes. That, yeah, someone. It was the case of my great grandpa, but not because of that. It's because he came from Syria from a war with after losing everything, and he had to start from scratch. In that case, is a bit more justified. The soldier that comes from a war after being stolen of everything, like the Islamic regime sent him to a front line when he was a merchant, and he somehow survived and came here, and here he put all the money under the floor, pretty much. But he had to start from scratch, and the trauma of being in a front line, losing everything, his wife and child, well, there it does make a bit more of sense. You mean that 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 the family didn't give them attention as kid? Because even if your family doesn't give you like every single toy or financially giving you things, well, um, it's more than that is attention. More than that is attention. Attention. People need attention nowadays. That's why I don't believe in the modern. Well, this is another debate, people. The modern role of psychologists. What we, I think I debated it with you, Patrick. Nowadays, people need others to listen to them. People with social media don't listen to their friends, to their relatives, to other people. We don't need psychologists. We need normal people who listen to others. Okay? Like for example, I might do on a stream, or you, Patrick, in real life with your friends and etc. We need people that listen to others, and at that point, the psychologist is not needed. It's not needed because really nowadays it's not that we are coming from World War II and all of us uh, starved or at a trench, and our wives, for example, were left alone at home and maybe lost relatives on those things. We're not coming from World War II, really, people. So the psychologist, well, someone could argue, well, but there are other things that the psychologist can help in life. Not all of the problems can be about those things. Yeah, but at that point, it's not that severe. It's not that severe. What do you know? There are severe things regarding everyday life and etc. Yes, but they are all derived from the same, from people not listening to each other, not talking, taking their turns, and listening to each other. All is derived from that at that point because of social media. In that sense. So let's keep going, let's keep exploring the marsh. Oh, the most common argument to that statement is, but what if the person has a problem that only a professional can solve it? If it's like that, it needs to go to a psychiatrist, not a psychologist. To a psychiatrist, because he has an illness. Because at the end of the day, we cannot dissociate psychology from the social network of the person. And if the social network is well done, well, it's not as important as a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist, yes. The psychiatrist, you have a mental problem inside of your brain, and you need medication, and etc. The psychiatrist, not the psychologist, the psychiatrist. When you go to a psychiatrist, it's different, Patrick. That would be the psychiatrist. The psychologist, no. Psychologist, in that sense, is not about a physical illness in the brain. Okay? So we have to establish that difference. Nowadays, the role has been distorted. That argument would have helped, would have been valid in the 90s, in which a psychologist dealt with really severe cases as well, without getting to the point of the physical illness of the brain. But nowadays the psychologist is like someone who is going to listen to you. Sadly, it has distorted its original role. For example, because people are not listened to by other people. Because people are not used to listen nowadays, sadly. Because of social media, 5 seconds of an Instagram reel, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, it destroys the attention span. So because of that, they feel that they are not listened to. They are not being listened to by other people. At that point, how do you need a psychologist? What professional help would be needed if the person is not even listened to? if the problem is that the person feels alone and is not being listened to. Because the Obama administration turned people into psychopaths with this boom of social media and etc. for allowing it. Pretty much. Pretty much. If the person doesn't have anyone who listens to him or her, relatives, parents, siblings, friends, etc., if the person cannot have a conversation, that's much more severe than any aspect that the professional psychologist can spot, because the person is living the life of a beast, is living the life of a beast, of an animal, not of a human being. So my counter argument would be the severity of that is much higher than any aspect that the psychologist can discover. Not the psychiatrist. Otherwise would be a psychiatrist. Otherwise it would be a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist, yes. Psychiatrist, yes. But the aspects that the psychologist treats are never as severe as this which I am describing. Of having, sadly, the life of a beast. Because of unwillingly. Because the person wants to be listened to be comprehended by other human being. That is the thing. There's nothing the psychologist can point out that is more severe than that. Than the current state of the situation that they encouraged. That they encouraged. They encouraged it. Because most psychologists are feminists. 99% of psychologists nowadays are feminists. So they told women especially, no, you don't need men. You don't need men. Yes, I need. Yes, I do. As we need them. So they've caused more harm than solution. The psychologists, not the psychiatrists. The psychologists. They've told, especially women, but also men, that, especially after the Obama administration. Previous to the Obama administration, the psychologists were honorary people and etc. Nowadays, the role is that of a normal person, of a friend, who is going to listen to you. The problem is that you are paying him to do so. So it's worse. It's worse. It's better to try to restore what it was in the 90s and find yourself a good friend in life. Some friends in life. Because the psychologist at the end of the day is being paid to act as a friend. When he's never gonna be. Because it's his job instead. The psychiatrist, yes. And you could say, well, but he can solve things that a normal friend can't. Name me any aspect then that is worse psychologically than living like a beast with anyone, with no one listening to you. With no one listening to you. There's none. Because for psychology to exist, there needs to be interaction. If the person is all alone, the only psychology possible is that of a beast. What aspect could the psychologist name me without getting into the work field of the psychiatrist, which is a mental illness, separated, that is more severe than this? Than living in a world in which his parents don't listen to him or her, his siblings don't listen to him, people that could perfectly be his friends or love interests don't listen to him. What is worse than that? It's impossible. It's impossible. It is impossible. It is impossible to do psychology without any interaction like that. So there's no problem that is more severe than that, and that is precisely the one that the psychologists nowadays are stealing people. They are swindling people because they shouldn't be treating those things. Trying to assume that role. The role of a friend that listens to you, but is being paid, so it's worse. So it's not a real friend. Huh? It's not like in the 90s or pre-Obama in the early 2000s that the psychologist had to deal with, I don't know, a person who was robbed and attacked at and lost a limb, for example. That would be the case. That would be the case. But for that, the psychiatrist can also deal with it. So it stays in a weird limbo nowadays, that specific profession. For example, you could tell me, well, I had a traumatic relationship with my husband. He hit me, and etc. and etc. and I felt like that. Well, those cases, yes. Those cases, yes. But anyways, I have to tell you, people, I don't think there's anything more severe than that which I am mentioning, of complete isolation of the individual, in which the person just goes to the psychologist to be listened to. Because at the end of the day, you can go to the... At the end of the day, even if it's a tragedy and the person should rot in jail, if the husband hits his wife and etc., well, the police can stop the situation. But the fact that I described of complete isolation and etc., it has the component of being perpetual in time. The other one, no. You go to the police office. If you are at the psychologist, it's because it's already been solved and you are trying to deal with the trauma. Okay? So you went to the police office and fortunately the situation stopped. But the situation that I'm describing, that the modern role of the psychologist is replacing, is not being listened to perpetually for years and years and years and years and years. So I would say it ends up being more severe than even physical hits in some cases. At the end of the day, for years and years and years, nobody listening to your thoughts, nobody listening to your ideas, sharing things together, nothing. For years and years and years, I don't think any psychologist can bring up a topic to me that is worse than this, perpetually for years. Because at the end of the day, a person who is dealing with the trauma of an accident or being hit, like I'm mentioning, at the end of the day, that can physically stop. But this which I am mentioning is perpetual in time. I need your lawyer brain for this question. Sure, Patrick, sure. My lawyer brain for this question, you need it. Sure, fire, Patrick. Shoot. Shoot your question. I'm making progress here over at the Kurast area of the swamp. The mobs are amazing over at in Nightmare difficulty, that's for sure. Sorry, I get lost in thought, people, when I start talking. But yeah, that's it. The role of the psychologist has been distorted nowadays. Most people don't go for all of this to the psychologist for all of these things that I'm mentioning. They just go because I don't know. Because in a lot of cases they didn't have, I don't know, the dream parents that they wanted as children. That's not a reason to go to the psychologist. If you tell me that the parents hit the person as a child, yes, that yes, a severe situation. But most people don't go because of that. They go because, I don't know, they didn't feel liberated and do whatever they wanted. No, of course you're not gonna do whatever you want in life. Most psychologists nowadays, sadly, are feminists and they cannot separate this aspect. And that makes them a political instrument. The one that is not a political instrument is a psychiatrist, who yes deals with physical illnesses, and can give you remedies and etc. and meds and medications. That one, yes, the psychiatrist. But the psychologist, I would prohibit any psychologist from giving people medication. That would be the psychiatrist, not a psychologist, a psychiatrist. There has to be a clear difference, and people don't understand this. The psychologist, no. The psychiatrist, in that sense. The psychiatrist, yes. Because that one studies directly illnesses that affect the brain. The psychologist, no. The psychologist analyzes possible traumas of the past. But they are not biologically derived. They are socially derived. In that sense. And that's a huge difference. Socially derived from others or from yourself, from your perception of yourself. But it doesn't have a component of a biological defect in the brain. Okay? There's a difference. That's why I also don't believe in modern reports of the attention deficit syndrome and autism and those. Because there's been a deliberate blurring by the state, not by anyone. It's not me, it's not conspiracy or stupidity. There's been a deliberate blurring by the state of these two roles. They try to make people think that the psychologist is a psychiatrist, and a psychologist is not a psychiatrist. Lawyer brain. We switch to law people for a second then. Okay. So you need my lawyer brain, Patrick. But consider that I never worked as a lawyer. Is it acceptable for major American banks, like big ones, to freeze your bank account because you are politically on the no Abraham influence, Abraham religion influence in the United States side, and express this on live stream? Was the person anti-Semite directly, Patrick? We have to analyze the context. Under neutral circumstances in abstract, I would tell you that it's a violation of freedom of expression. In abstract. Now, I presume that the context of the modern world with recent events of the influence of the war over at Israel and etc. I would say that nowadays supporting in that specific case anything that isn't this he no but he in the context of the modern situation of the attack of October the 7th, in which they did atrocities and etc., it is a direct provocation, and it's been on the side of the Middle East criminals, I would say, in the modern context, like from the sea from the shore to the sea, or whatever the fuck they say, or free Palestine or whatever. That is being on the side of criminals and people who killed a lot of people in a very cruel way. If it's regarded in that modern context, yes. In abstract, just saying that which one was it? That the American bank freezes your account because you are you say that, for example, I don't know, in general, in abstract, something more abstract, like, just so you have an idea, that Christianity is the dominant religion of the world and not the Abraham-derived one. Well, that is an evident observation of reality. That's not being anti-Semite. No, but he said Germany had a good... He joked about saying then that Germany had a good leader one time. No. That is being anti-Semite. If it was the one with a big mustache that did a lot of killings and etc., that evidently ruined the lives of millions of people, well, freezing the bank account, I would apply a fine. Instead, but I would say a fine instead. Freezing all of the bank account is a bit extreme. It's a bit extreme. I would say a fine. A fine. He's in the millionaire status. I think it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That is real discrimination. See, just because a person is millionaire, saying that he has to he has to get all of his. The problem is not the amount of money, Patrick. The problem is that rights, punishments need to be proportional to the offense to establish a chain of severity. Because then otherwise, I give everyone 1,000 years in prison, and that's it. I solve crime forever. It needs to be proportional in the severity of it. Okay? So, at the end of the day, if a society is letting people say free Palestine every day, which is much worse, because it tried to. Because at the end of the day, the Middle East religion tried to obliterate the whole Western civilization as a whole. In that sense, the mustache man from Germany also tried, so it's also severe, and I would apply a fine to the person. I would apply a fine to the person, without a doubt. I would apply a big, huge fine to the person, regardless of being poor or rich. It doesn't have to do with that. But yeah, if he talked about that, he's an anti-Semite. Joking about that shit. It's a banalization of the deaths of millions of people who didn't do anything to him, pretty much. Regarding the freedom of expression and etc., I do think that instead of freezing the account, I would apply a fine, because the proportion of severity there, I think it's a bit too much, because you are like cutting all economic rights and well, if it's the first time the person does it or whatever, I think a big huge fine, I would still apply it, would be more adequate because of that. Okay, he said, why should any other the other big Western religion, let's just say, well, but the other one would be Protestantism, the third most influential religion of the West, let's say. Why should have an influence in the United States when they are against our religion, our beliefs? We shouldn't support a country which attacks everyone without any selection. No, on that I disagree. They defended themselves, and they didn't start the attack because of that. Because they're acting as a shield of the Western civilization there. No, on that I disagree. No, that part is not true. It's not true. The part that is true is that inside of that religion there's a portion. Inside of that religion there's a portion which is being fought against by another part of that religion, which are the wokes. The wokes, yes, they originate there, in a branch, in the progressive branch of that religion, Patrick. It is true. The wokes, yes, they have to be completely uh, punished for the damage they cause on society, regardless of the religion they belong to. The extremists, because at the end of the day they are extremists. But yeah, it is true that it originated there. Now, that is one thing. But we cannot condemn a whole religion because of a portion inside of it. We cannot do that. It is true that society should recognize that Christianity is the main dominant religion of the West through Roman Catholicism or Protestantism. Either of the two, that is the dominant religion of the West. But regarding the last part, he's wrong. They were attacked October the 7th. They killed a lot of people in a very brutal way. And I can tell you that he's wrong, because by saying that, he's actually giving weapons, dialectic weapons, to the other side, which is doing something much worse. Okay? Patrick is what I would tell you. That's why I have this stance. He's like helping the other side unwillingly, even if he doesn't know it. He's validating the crimes of the other side. He's validating the crimes of the other side by saying that. He's validating the crimes of the other side. That is a severe part of his statement. That he's validating the crimes of the other side. That is the problem. Not being with the Western religion is supporting the Eastern one in this case. Because the Eastern one is invading Europe, is coming for us all, and they really don't care if it's that one or Roman Catholicism or Protestantism. So out of the two, if you don't support that one, then you're unknowingly even supporting the other one, which is brutally dangerous. Brutally dangerous. That is the problem that he doesn't understand in his ignorance, I presume, because the first part of the phrase wasn't that much related to it. That is the problem, Patrick. It is why my stance is different regarding that topic. He does not understand it, but by not defending that one in the modern context that we are going through, he is unwillingly, maybe, because he probably also doesn't support the Middle East religion that kills even more people, he's unwillingly supporting that one. He's unwillingly supporting that one. He's being used as a tool, and he doesn't understand how he's being used as a tool. Yeah? He's being used as a tool by the Middle East propaganda. He's being used as a tool. I decide not to be used as a tool. I decide not to be used as a tool, in that sense. A part of the religion you are mentioning created the woke situation, this extreme progressivism of Obama and etc. That yes. And the dominant religion of the West is Roman Catholicism and Protestantism. He is Christian. He only supports Christianity. Yes, but in the context, in the modern context of the attack of October the 7th, saying that about the mustache man of Germany, saying that is being used as a tool by the Middle East religion. That is my stance. In the modern context of an attack with the invasion of Europe that is full of the Middle East religion that you tell me, think about it like this. Europe is being invaded with those, with open migration and etc. The Twin Towers attack not so long ago by the same religion. Now October the 7th against that religion. And etc. With that context, you just cannot be morally gray about it because of the severity of the modern context. You can then do as I do and specify that a branch inside of that religion, yes, is the one responsible for the crazy progressives. And that one should be declared as much as a threat as the Middle East religion. That yes. He started the America First podcast. He has millions of followers and basically made a community of groypers, which means no, well, that's the thing. That's the thing, Patrick. You can see that I try to achieve common sense regarding this topic. I try to achieve common sense. Because then I fall for the trap of the Middle East religion, Patrick. Otherwise we fall for the trap of being used. They probably even financed the Middle East religion. Think about it like this. What if the Middle East religion financed the progressive group inside of the of the religion that you are mentioning? What if they financed it so we turn against it and they can and we hate each other and then they can kill us all? See, what's the risk of that? See, what's the risk of that? He said the N word 6 times in a sentence which contained 12 words totally. XD. Well, wasn't he banned then? Wasn't he banned then? Wasn't he banned? And here I am, people like an angel, and here I am like an angel worrying about not displaying World of Warcraft in a reverse engineer server, worrying when you or Pillow say one or two things. I am an angel, people, I am an angel. That's for sure, that's for sure. Yeah, well, you can see that all of those things are to distract us from he streams on Rumble, where he's the most famous one, so nobody bans. Rumble, I don't know what that shit might be. I don't know. I'm not that into the to platforms. So yeah. I want to investigate how to send the map back to that song. Character screen, hireling screen. Oh, toggles the mercenary hiring screen. Party screen. Where is the one to change the map? Clear screen, show items, toggle item pickup, map, switch map, auto map, reveal map, small map, minimap position B. Good, it's B. Okay, well. I don't know, people. Oh. I don't know which of the two is more intrusive. This one at least, I don't know. I should be able to move it a bit more to his most famous tweet. Your body, my choice. No, well, no, well. No, well, no. No, well, that is a slavery, people. No, well, that is a slavery directly. No. No, it's not his choice. It's a choice of both of them. Of both of them. Not his. Both of them. I understand the backlash to it and etc. And all of those things, but not only his. Or I know why he does it, and I agree that everything was bad. Patrick, I've told you, I would eradicate everything that happened in since the Obama administration. Any law that Obama approved would be eliminated, would be passed at the Congress, the opposite to leave it without effect. I've said it. But then, no, that is going back to fucking slavery and those shits, for example. In that sense. No, my choice, no. The choice of both of them. In union and sacred... in sacred... complementation of each other's defects and those things, no. His choice only, no. His choice only, no. Both of them. Both of them. I know why he says it. Because of the crazy abortion. I would make abortion illegal. I would make abortion illegal, of course. Among all of the things. Even before it. I would make it illegal. 100%. Because of... I told you how Roe v. Wade was always... the Roe confessed at her deathbed that she was paid by the Democrat Party. Her real name wasn't even Roe. It's a it's an alias in that sense. I would definitely prohibit abortion 100%. People need to be responsible instead over their bodies, and they shouldn't have sex at inadequate ages, as you can see. I agree with all of that. Any parent whose child has sex before 18 years, a big huge fine, you know it. And I don't think the streamer would say this because then he probably agrees on indiscriminate sex. I don't know. So I'm even more conservative regarding that. But it's not your body might choice. It's the choice of two adults in which both are respected, the man and the woman, by eliminating abortion. And that's it. And that's it. But it's both of them in a sacred and healthy union, complementing each other's defects. In that sense. No. So yeah. Damn it! I knew that was gonna happen. Couldn't move. So yeah, pretty much. I understand that we've had a terrible 10 years, 20 years, I don't know, since the Obama administration and why it's causing that reaction. But no, women are the first victims of this wicked system. They are the first victims. Believe it or not. They are the first victims of these wicked systems. Ourselves as well. But they are also the victims of this system. Because what they eliminated was femininity. They tried to turn them into men. At the end of the day. Well, that one was a draw. I killed him. But yeah, he deals a lot of damage. The N word 6 times in a sentence that combined was 12 words. Damn it. Well, that's the thing. That's why well, in my case, I told it the other day. Argentina was so much to the south that we didn't have any slave trade, so we don't have those problems. District, any debates? Hello. Oh, if there are any debates, district. If there are any debates, district. We've had everything. MMORPGs with Yims from Denmark, and with Patrick, of course. Our usual great debates. I'm talking about Nick Fuentes. He's very, very intellectual. He debated with a lot of famous interviewers, right and left wing politicians, and nobody could get through him. He was always the most intellectual with his historical knowledge, economical knowledge, etc. Had a pretty busy day, but always here to say hi. Oh well, sad to hear that, district. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. It is you flatter me with that, precisely because of that. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Sad to hear that you edited a lot of videos. Erase our face. Yeah. I will have a challenge for next year, district. I need a person. I don't understand how to play Ultima Online. Have you played Ultima Online just by chance? Yes, I'm still working on one video. Okay. Hopefully, you are not. Nope, I didn't. Okay. If you know any person who would be willing to join me on stream, I would appreciate it. What is that game about? It was the first MMORPG. And I don't know how to play it. I have an offline reverse engineered version of it. Yeah, I have an offline reverse engineered surprise face. I have an offline reverse engineered version of it that is improved, and I wanted to eventually showcase it so we can all, myself included because I don't know how to play it, we can all do some justice to it because it was the first MMORPG of all time. And pretty much, I think it's impossible to find someone because the game is old means many old people played it. Damn it! What is your opinion about council culture? Says Patrick. Okay, now I get to yours and your previous comment about the guy. But district, just so you know, impossible to find someone. My last hope is Crowbar because Crowbar is a bit older than you or me. Um, it's my last hope. Yims is the other one who is older here, and he hasn't. His uncle did so, but not him. Well, otherwise, people, sorry, we'll have to learn from the get-go alone next year without anyone teaching us. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do trial and error. I don't have any manual. I don't have any shit. It will be time for pain. Time for pain for all of us. We won't understand shit. We won't understand why I'm dying or anything. To hell with it. We'll learn it ourselves. We'll have to learn it ourselves. What are we gonna do? I wanted to showcase it because it was the first MMORPG with image. James was telling me that there were some text-based. I'm not going to go through a text-based MMORPG. The first one with images, let's say, isometric. So yeah, pretty much. That's one of the ideas that I want for next year. We also have to play District. I have to play Diablo Immortal for you that you asked for that one. Then we have my first ever video game, Crowbar's sub video game. Path of Exile. I wanted to go back to Path of Exile a bit. It's been a while since I played it, 10 years. When it came out, 2014, some shit like that. I think I played it in 2017. We have so many. The Ultimate 3DS Showcase. I have to do the fucking Ultimate 3DS Showcase, people. We have to do it. Now that I know how to stream it, we could open next year with. We can open in January with the Ultimate 3DS Showcase. I need to do it. The subscribers, the affiliate special. We haven't done it with my first video game ever. So yeah, we have lots of them to cover. Patrick, I'm talking about Nick Fenton. He's very intellectual. He debated with famous interviewer, right and left politicians. Nobody could get through him. He was always the most intellectual, and his historical knowledge. Well, that's good for him, I guess. But it's the one that you commented to me at Discord. Does he explain why? All of the things that he talks about, he needs to explain why. That would be the one thing that I could tell you to pay attention to in that sense. Why? Why and all of... Oh. The very essence of existence that we always talk about. What is your opinion about cancel culture? Is what I was telling you. It was originated in that portion of the religion that you mentioned. Pretty much. The Abraham religion, let's say. A portion of it, not all of it, a portion of it created the woke culture with the cancel culture and etc. A portion of it is still something that we don't hear a lot about, like the origin of how that went down, in which kind of twisted laboratory it was created. But what we know is that one branch of it created it. One branch. The other one, the conservative one, opposed to it. So it's not everyone falling under the same category. Huh? It's one branch. It's the progressive branch. It's a progressive branch of it. Probably even created by the Middle East religion to make us... to make... Roman Catholics and Protestants, all of us, get fed up of it. So suspect that as well, Patrick. I would say that in that sense. So yeah, people, if anyone knows any person who played Ultima Online ever, I would thank you if you can send the person to at least just the very first streams. So I at least understand the interface. Otherwise, we'll do it alone, and we are going to suffer together, not understanding what to do, how to move, or how to play the fucking game. But yes, pretty much. Let's hope the tutorial of the mod works, I guess, but the problem is that back then the tutorial was in a physical manual, so they were in physical manuals, so I don't think we'll be able to get much information from there. That is a problem. So yeah, pretty much. So yeah, pretty much. Give the golden bear, return to him between us. Search his for his eye in the spider cavern. Ah, yeah, right, the spider cavern. My bad, people. We have to go to the fucking spider cavern as we turn in the quests. Here. So yeah, it's pretty much that. One branch, Patrick. The progressive branch inside of it, not all of it. Don't be fooled by those. Because then we are being used as tools to hate each other. Eh? That is the thing. Then we are being used as tools by the Middle East religion to hate each other. Especially in this context of them attacking indiscriminately.
Busy yourself while I experiment with the ashes within it. Then return and see what I've made for you. It pains me to waste time.
Pillow, hey yeah, how are you doing, Pillow? Hope the situation improves for you. I had a call. Yeah, you told me last time. Yeah, but I hope it improved for you. It somehow improves in the future for you, Pillow, as well. Good and bad news. I hope the situation improved. It was quite dramatic what you commented to me yesterday, as a whole. Quite dramatic. I still think it is quite weird that you are not allowed to do anything. There we go. Permanently at 60 points of life. That you are not allowed to hire anyone, any underling, to teach him those things, and and finally and give him a portion of your work. Good thing is that my partner woke up from the coma, and it turned out he didn't steal the money. What the fuck? It's only like 40,000 missing. Damn! Twist of events. That's a plot twist. What the What the fuck? He didn't steal the money. Damn, Pillow. Damn. Well, good. Good for you. We still 40,000 is only like 40,000 missing. It's still a good number, $40,000, but yeah, nothing compared to what you mentioned yesterday, which was 250,000. So yeah, okay, it's manageable. Okay. Well, see, I told you that all the time you spent yesterday losing your health, literally losing your health, was in vain. That's why, people. That's why I always tell that. That's why I always tell that. To consider that problems that are not about you being at a hospital about to die are not real problems. They have a solution. Hence why. Let's go to the spider cave, people. Good. Did I miss everything? Well, Pillow, if you want to tell him, to Patrick is in the last stream. Yeah, by the end of the last stream, I don't know if you left, Patrick. We were talking about after the bags that Pillow, that his partner, that his partner, basically his business partner, his associate over at the Bayleaf study. Well, he had a terrible illness. The entire situation just dissolved into trivial. Well, and well, yesterday Pillows pretty much told me a very dramatic situation of him uh, owning the rest of the company, and that he's. I tried. You cannot say that I suggested you a lot of possible options, but well, they was telling me that some were illegal in Poland, like hiring another person. But Pillow, anyways, Pillow. The first thing I'll tell you, start right now looking for another associate to train immediately. Immediately. Do not rest just because it dissolved a bit. Another associate for or you or yourself alone, and and train yourself alone in the company. I cannot. You have to start searching at least. Start asking around over at the judicial system. I need to wait until May for that. Start thinking about that. Start th- thinking about where you will look for. Start thinking where where in which social circle you're going to start looking for it. Someone to train, not to associate with you like as the co-owner of the company, like below you in terms of a hierarchy. An employee, I mentioned, almost an employee, I would say, almost an employee. So that doesn't happen to you. That's why I suggest never having associates. Basically, Patrick, just so you have an idea, his associate went to the hospital with a terminal illness, and now Pillow had a lot of cases that he had to deal with, and he thought that his associate had stolen a lot of money. Wasn't the case. He was just a bit of a drunken person who spent a bit on alcohol, let's say, a bit, an unhealthy amount on alcohol, and well, he's the co-owner of a company apparently, and the rest of the clients would go to him
Good day.
if he hadn't solved the situation.
You are truly
In that
wonderful.
sense, you have pretty much
I hope you find the black book
the
soon.
chat in
Curiously,
yesterday's
I
bod
wait for my
stream,
orders.
Patrick. Basically, if you are interested in what
Greetings.
I told him, which is similar to this, I told him that I still find it weird that representation in cases takes so much time for you to give to a subordinate. I find that absolutely weird. Like here, it's a a signature, and signing some papers, and that's pretty much it. I find it terribly weird, Pillow. I find it terribly weird. Like you telling me that to find an associate to use your name to represent you, that you said that it would take until January, I think. And like hiring an employee to give him some of your paperwork and do your job using your signature as the lead. Dude, there are things called training here. No, but I know for every single profession, but someone who already has experience, you can only take a trainee in May. Why? Explain me why, as simple as it can. Why only in May? Because that's when the semester ends. Okay, okay, and that's because procedures say so. And can't you start training him like without using your signature, like doing a simulation? Training who? As an employee for you. If you are the lead of the company, you need an employee. There's nobody to train. Search for an employee to train. For a lawyer who graduated and can help you with the job. They all have a mechanet by now. What the fuck is a mechanet? They all have a mechanet by now. They're all taken. All the apprentices. All the trainees. All the lawyer trainees. You mean they're all taken? Can't be. You cannot do that as that is considered fraud. Basically, yes. Okay. Okay. I don't understand why it is considered fraud just to train a freshly graduated lawyer without taking the case yet. In a you give him a paper with a hypothetical case and you start training him and having him as employee, not using your signature yet, just training him with practice, paying him a salary for doing some basic paperwork under your company. Either I don't understand something about the structure of your company, or what, but because you need to finish 1 year of theoretical training. Okay. Before you can even begin. Okay. Okay. Mm. Start right now. Like, as soon as you can. Well, you say in May? As soon as you can. So, they need to have 1 year of training, theoretical training, before they can jump to the practice, to the practical part. Okay. Before you can even begin. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. 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 You're in a tough spot then, still. I would start looking for someone to train immediately. I would give him the theory myself if needed. To have him then as employee. You cannot be without any employee. Not associated like you did with your friend at the same level. Below you. Always try to be the superior of your company. If you are risking all of the money, especially like you told me last time. Even more. Like a subordinate. Have you ever heard of the crazy rubber room with Dax? Below, I'm not checking another one of your links. After what you did last time, yesterday, uh, you have links. I might as well. I won't remove you the beep. I won't remove you the beep for now. But I'm not opening the links before the stream ends. Because it's a lack of respect to people who are watching it to have a disconnection, in which I stop, search for something offline, potentially breaking this game that is so old and can freeze, and over at YouTube, and then and then going back only after it. No need for that. Crazy. I was crazy once. They locked me in a room, a rubber room with rats, and rats make me crazy. Are you doing a copy pasta from the internet, Pillow, or is it real? Now you have to understand that I have to assume that's a copy pasta. A copy pasta from the internet. This is how I feel in this conversation. Crazy, I was crazy once. They locked me in a rubber room with a loop of rats, and rats make me crazy. Why do you feel like that in this conversation, Pillow? Why? Why would you feel like that? Like a crazy individual trapped in a room? Because I keep telling you that you have to find a subordinate, and I honestly cannot understand why one cannot hire an employee, a simple employee, to train him without giving him his signature. It's basic Hegelian dialect, because it repeats. It's basic Hegelian dialect. Well, but you need to repeat things to understand. Blame relativism or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, no, relativism is the one responsible for all of the shit that we have in our modern world. Don't you worry. Don't you worry that I blame. Don't you worry that I blame relativism. At all. At all. Think of it like this, Pillar. Huh? If your friend wasn't influenced by relativism and got drunk constantly, like you mentioned yesterday, and caused a disaster, the situation wouldn't have existed in the first place, as some big bad Roman emperor like my ancestors would have prohibited the consumption of alcohol and all of that shit. Drunkenness existed before relativism, and realism stopped it. Because before realism there was relativism. Before, sadly, before the glorious Roman Empire, there was that. Now that you've recovered a bit. Not quite. No, hang on, Pillow. Now that you've recovered a bit and you seem to be willing to... today you come with the energy to do the R fighting. Yesterday, as I am a realist and not a relativist, and I had empathy, and I really worried for your problem and everything that you mentioned, and etc. As I'm a realist monarchist and not one of these modern psychopaths without empathy and all of that, I have a topic for you since today you have a bit more of energy to do the art fighting. Tattoos, Pillow. Remember that you laughed the other day when I said that they were evil personified and you said Satan and etc. Well, an investigation, a medical investigation, scientists, tattoos, yes. Medical investigation, the scientist. Remember that I said about that evil personified and that I would bumble tattoo stores and etc. Did Javier send you? No, Milos, no. Not my great president that is doing a great job. Chile also won the election right beside us, so the Southern Cone is fortunately purged of the communists. Fortunately, we are free. We are free. We are free. We are free from the communists here in the Southern Cone now. Tattoos. Investigation. Remember that you laughed the other day? Now, the World Health Organization and etc. are saying that maybe, they don't want to say the reality, maybe there's a link between tattoos and skin cancer. Maybe, always use the potential, people. Maybe, the evidence for anyone with a brain, maybe there's a link between tattoos and skin cancer. Just like maybe there was a virus in China that was going to fuck us all over the world and kill millions of people. Maybe. But I am the idiot for saying it. Years and 20 years. Perhaps tattoos and skin cancer were just caused by the friends we made along the way. Yeah. Anything to say, Pillow, besides that you laughed the other day? Maybe. Also, anti-vaxxers. Maybe there's a link. Maybe they are saying there's the evidence. The fucking evidence that putting ink on your skin indiscriminately maybe makes you more you and future generations that you reproduce, right? That you maybe because the genetics absorb it. Maybe there's a link in which you condemn all of your generations to have a tendency to have skin cancer. Nothing, pretty much nothing. So anything to say? You are not going to say. Do you know who uses tattoos? The Russian. Won't you say that I was a brilliant mind? You will never recognize that I'm a brilliant mind, Pillow. You will never recognize it. But well, I don't need it. Approved. That means that tattoos kills Russians. No. That tattoos kills the Russians. Approved. No. See, you broke the game with that. You broke the game with that comment. Approved. Well, approved. Anything to say about my brilliant mind? Who said it? I say it since I was 5 years, so since the year 2000, probably 1995. I say it since my 6. Maybe now. Maybe I love it when they say it. Maybe maybe we've found a relationship between that and people coming to the doctor with skin cancer. I agree. If this is true, then tattoos are the best. You want people dead, Pillow? Then you want people dead? Putin's army. Putin's army. Yeah, I know. You want Putin's army dead. Yeah, that I know it. But you want normal people dead? You want normal people dead? Poor people in their ignorance. I think it's just needless to say. Once I heard this, I burst in I bursted in laughter, saying, "Well, now it's justified. Time to bombard all of the tattoo stores." Of course. Well, yeah. You don't need to be intelligent to be a war criminal, okay? Yeah. I just hope you now agree that they are Satan, as you said with a lot of irony now, the tattoo stores that you laughed at me. You should apologize. You should apologize for laughing at my theory now. A bit. People, people. When one, no, I have no tattoos, but you laughed at it and said, yeah, bro, I cannot take you seriously. You said I cannot take you seriously. However, I know Russians. You said you couldn't take it seriously. What do we do now? Potentially just a skin cancer for you and all of your generations. They are investigating, and now they are and they are dead. And now they are dead. Yeah. Potentially, what's probabilities? Probabilities, just the probability of having massive skin cancer on all of the population of the world with the tattoo stores. Nothing. Why you ask? Because you said, bro, bro, I cannot take you seriously. You said you couldn't take me seriously. Now do you take me seriously? To know if now you take me seriously is very important for myself. It's not that previously I didn't know that I was right. Because the tattoos cost a 2 millimeter hole in their frontal lobe. No, no, they weren't shot, Pillow. It causes skin cancer. It causes a skin cancer. It increases the tendency and the probability of having a skin cancer. As I said, of course it did, and you laughed at me. You laughed at me. You said that I should open. Wait, what was the fucking comment? You said I should open a comedy show, but talking seriously, and people would laugh. After I showed you the video about the faces of New York, and then I talked about the tattoos. You said that I should open a comedy show. Well, the comedy show is a skin cancer for the population. Just do happens it didn't manage to kill them. Deep inside you know that I am right about some things, Pillow. Maybe I'm right about some things. Maybe before the Ukrainian war. I would be also what about your own army? If your own army has tattoos, if does the Polish army have tattoos? What do you do with those poor souls instead? Would you agree saving them, declaring the tattoos illegal like here boring eraser does? Banned! Good. 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 Then now you agree with the crazy monarchist. Good. Maybe I'm not that crazy. Good. Good. Good to know. No, the monarchist was late. Yeah. I'm sure I said. Surely later than you. Surely after you. Tattoos were banned in the Charter of 1991. Pillow, I can show you your comments of the stream 3 weeks ago laughing at me, saying that you couldn't take me seriously, as I explained to Patrick the psychological aspect. You literally wrote a laughter in chat when I said that I would bomb the tattoo stores and that they were evil personified. Because when you show me no, I didn't show you a video. I just said it. I just said it. I just said it. I showed you the video about the faces of people falling down the street. No, I didn't show you a video about the tattoos. And then you said that they were evil personified, that the owners of the tattoo store were evil personified, and apparently they are. This is why society is degenerate. No, but that one was about the faces. That was one you laughed out loud. It's okay, and I'm happy for that, and I agree with it. That's 1 week previously, but at the next week of that, I said that tattoo shops were evil personified, and you also laughed. That the owner of a tattoo store was evil personified, and you laughed. I didn't show you any videos. I didn't show you any videos. I just told you. And when I said evil personified, you wrote like this: evil personified in caps in chat, and then a continuous laughter, and said to me and poor Patrick here as well, yeah, I'm going, bro. I'm going. I cannot take the conversation. You said the conversation stopped being serious when you started talking about tattoos. You said. Then we can. Let me read on this. Then we can R fight. Okay. Read what you said. You can check out the video on my channel if it's still on. I think it's not on, but I have it over at YouTube then uploaded with my reactions, with me reading your comments. uh, but well, for anyone else listening to the conversation over at YouTube, I basically said that, and I stand by it, that the owners of tattoo stores should be fined because of precisely ruining the lives of the population, and that they were evil personified, pretty much. That there was an element that I despise more than the virtue signaling, rainbow flag, and etc. And it was the tattoos. The owners of the tattoo store. Pretty much. Pretty much. Pretty much. Pretty much. It was basically that. And indeed, as I'm describing, I wasn't taken seriously by him. Hey, Razor. How dare, though? I dare a lot of things. How dare you? How dare you what, Pillow? Trying to save the lives of the population. How dare you have a brain, would be your question. Yeah, I do have one, and I like using it. The only place that conducted a study in this was Russia. No, it wasn't Russian. It was the no. What the fuck, Pillow? What are you saying, Pillow? What are you saying? If it was from the United Nations, it was from NATO. That means the exact opposite is true. No, it wasn't Russian, Pillow. It wasn't fucking Russian. It was the United Nations. No, it wasn't Russian. It was the United Nations. It was the United Nations. It wasn't Russian. If maybe there was one fucking Russian scientist in the United Nations, I don't know. It was from the United Nations. It was from the European Union. It was. More from the European Union. It was from the European Union. If one of the scientists had a Russian last name, that's another thing. It's written there, like on the. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about, Pillar? We are not talking about the same study, that's for sure. That's for sure. We are not talking about the same study. We're not talking about the same study. We're not talking about the same study, because I saw that the person who presented it said the European Union has been researching on this topic and has discovered this and this and this. The Science Commission and all of that shit. And by the way, there's elections people there, and one is Argentine. The guy, the Grossi, I think it is, to replace the Portuguese one, Guterres. He's the director of the Nuclear Energy Commission, to replace Guterres as the secretary. So there's an Argentine there. You may have an Argentine as the we may all have an Argentine as a secretary of the European Union, pretty much. What the fuck? He wrote a phrase in Russian and then in caps. What do you say to that? That I do not understand Russian. Mm, eh, we should need to ask. Still an issue. Still an issue. If I cannot understand it, sorry, there's nothing I can do. I can handle Spanish. Skill-ish. Please, Pillow. Didn't you have enough with me predicting the insanity of and the danger of the tattoos since the 90s to see that a monarchic system is perfect, like in the UK. Look at the UK, stable for 2000 years, and that I predict a lot of good things. Please, Kelly. Besides, I'm one of the top DPS users of Star Wars: New Republic. I know probably more than 99% of the population about philosophy. I'm also quite handsome by a lot of girls. I am humble. I have empathy. What skill issue could I have? I learned English. I am a lawyer. I did a lot in life to not be an ignorant. I cannot have any skill issue. Wittgenstein or Hegel? No offense, but when did you have sex last time? Some years ago, law school, etc. But none of the girls, even afterwards that, were able to satiate my knowledge. They were only literate, sorry. Skill issue. Wittgenstein of Hegel, I don't know Wittgenstein. I don't know him. Hegel, relativism, death, absolute death. That one, a fucking criminal. I would have led the Roman Empire roam free through the Germanic lands to stop such brutal criminal. Hegel, yes, but the other one I don't know. Tell me what he found, what he discovered. Goethe or man? No, they are all modern. You'll have to explain me each one of them. You tell me briefly in 2-3 lines. What do they say? They are all relativists because all of the German ones after the fall of the Roman Empire, they are all relativists. They are all the same as Nietzsche, as Hegel, and Immanuel Kant above. They are just clones of Immanuel Kant with differences. They maybe criticize something of Kant or whatever. He believed that many philosophical problems come from misunderstanding language. Okay, but that's not a conception of reality. That's just a minor. It's like Duns Scotus in Scotland and in England, being like the patron of English teachers. I love him a lot about the words, but he didn't have like a worldview of creation of existence. So if he treated only language, not that. Like he tried to show how the meaning of words depends on how they are used, not just that's relativism. That's relativism. Words have an objective meaning, as Duns Scotus properly says. It would be the opposite of Duns Scotus. Yeah, no. It's what we have nowadays. Retractus Logical Philosophicus. Just changing the objective meaning of words. Words have an objective meaning, not the one assigned to them by us humans. Just like in my example down here with the sky being blue. They don't know one man interprets another man's speech, but it's his perception of reality. Not how molecules and particles arrange themselves in time and space. The fact that he thinks that, does it change how the molecules arrange themselves? No. I can say that the sky is green and it will still be blue. Yeah, that's how he wrote on it. Does it change it? In reality, the objective arrangement of molecules and particles? No. I can say that the sky is green, and under normal climatic conditions, it will be blue. Pretty much. Nothing, I think, can modify the arrangement of the composition. Or I can say that this Xbox joystick is white. No, it's black. Objectively. The word black has an objective connotation to it. In that sense, do you want proof? Is this where Michael Jackson would call you ignorant, my amigo? I honestly do not care if that is the case, because I highly doubt a musician could. I highly doubt the musician could say anything to me that would change any idea that I may have about the world. Do you want proof? Do you want proof that it is like this, Pillow, that they have objective meaning? That they have objective meaning instead? What's up, my favorite? Patrick, you were still there. Well, here we were just fighting with Pillow, the usual, the usual. Relativism, once again, relativism. He started naming German. I am not interested in outre that. Well, you have to define what that is. Words need to be defined in absolute terms to make sense, Pillow. Just so if we get into the part of language, you cannot define a word in relative terms. You cannot say red is the absence of blue. Imagine if I said that red is the absence of blue. Neither am I interested in immanentia. If you are saying if that is Latin for immanent, things inside of metaphysical entities, you should be. You should be. You should be. Because they do have an immanent essence, an internal essence to themselves that does not obey to our perception of reality. If you want proof, try to start defining by omission, by the opposite, saying red is the absence of blue. No, red is the composition of the spectrum that corresponds to numbers 255 here, 255 here, and 0 here, creating that composition. See the difference? Have a good night, everyone, and have a wonderful R fight. Have a wonderful stream. See ya tomorrow, says Patrick. Patrick, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of the time you spend debating with me and all of the great topics. I deeply appreciate your company always. And don't feel bad, because I will take the summer holidays. You can always write to me over at Discord with anything, over at the Discord server with anything. And pretty much I'm always your friend to spend time if you need to, because I know that university can be a tough place to be, a tough place to be, definitely, people, a tough place. Hey, I think here I'm looking for the eye, right? Search for his eye in the spider cavern. Arachnid lair. Oh, well, maybe an arachnid lair is not a spider cavern. It has to be another one then. Okay, we'll search through the whole map. I remember this happened to me last time. So yeah, Patrick, have a great night. And tomorrow is the last stream before my summer holidays. So yeah, pretty much.